Our main specialization is the production of armored wheeled vehicles using MRAP technology. When I see our machines carrying out operations somewhere, it is of course a very great pride. The responsibility for the life of the crew lies with me. I have been working since the first year of the foundation, when there was no equipment yet.
Наша компания основана в 2014 году, проект мы начали в том же году, в 2015 году.
Our company was founded in 2014. We started the project in the same year. In 2015, we handed over this facility, built this project and started the production of armored wheeled vehicles. Our main specialization is the production of armored wheeled vehicles using MRAP technology. These are highly protected vehicles. They are well protected from the explosion of mines and they have high armored protection. These are modern armored vehicles that have been widely used in the world. Analyzing this market, we have come to the Paramount Group company, that is a large South African company in the defense industry. It produces both armored vehicles and in other areas. Why did we choose them? Because our main condition was localization on the territory of Kazakhstan. Not a screwdriver assembly, but the localization of the entire production process in our country. They gave us all the documentation. The main value of this plant is not the buildings, but the design documentation, our personnel, which we can say we have nurtured.
Мне 23 года, я 99-го года рождения.
I have been working for the company for 23 years since September 2021. I got a job as an ordinary locksmith. Gradually, through my perseverance and aspiration, I got promoted. Now I am a design engineer of electrical systems. I studied mechanical engineering. I came to work here by profession. I like to work with technology and the fact that there is also a computer here. I like to work with technology more than with people. In this regard, I feel comfortable. Well, like any person who wants to grow, develop, learn more. I've been here for 7 years. I've seen a lot, and I know a lot.
Самое основное, что у нас здесь есть, это наше конструкторское бюро. У нас есть.
The most basic thing we have here is our design office. We have Kazakhstan's certificate where we have more than 70% of localization, depending on the configuration of the machines. We have practically localized those processes that could have been localized in Kazakhstan. We can say a metal sheet comes to us, and a finished machine comes out of it at the end. This whole localization would not be possible without the documentation if we did not have our own office. We developed the design office and reached such a stage that in 2019 we began production of our own machine, Alan 2. It is a completely Kazakhstan's development. That is, from the idea to its production, it is completely made by our Kazakhstan's people. This is not a technology transfer from South Africa. This is not a ready-made machine we have adopted from somewhere. The guys were drawing and selecting technical specifications by themselves. In the end, we produced a car and last year we presented it, including to our law enforcement agencies.
Все зависит от заказа, в первую очередь, от требуемых систем от заказчика.
It all primarily depends on the orders and the requirements of the customer. In average, it takes a month or 2 to complete the electric design. So we began developing the design at the request of the customer. And here you can see the logic of all communications. After all this design process is completed, the design of the cable harnesses for the vehicles begins. After a harness is fully designed, we proceed to the actual laying of this cable. All harnesses and cables are assembled according to the standard which specifies absolutely everything, including how much cable we need to use. After the layout is completed, we send it to the foreman of the electrical assembly shop who distributes duties among electricians. That's how it's done. After the harness is fully assembled, it is delivered to the assembly shop. Our work is full of responsibilities. Imagine military actions are taking place. We have a radiation, chemical and biological protection system. If it fails due to my mistake, the crew would be exposed to chemical attacks. I am responsible for the lives of the crew.
На мне висит ответственность за жизнь экипажа, всего экипажа.
Сырье у нас используется.
The raw materials we use are Swedish-made armor steel. We buy it from there. Unfortunately, such steel is not produced in Kazakhstan. Ferrous metal is, of course, Kazakhstan's. Initially, you need to download the program to the machine, select the cutting technology, then set up the cutting machine itself, load the material, and bind the machine itself to the material. Here we get 3 cutting heads. They are water jet, plasma, and drilling. But in our case, we use water jet and plasma cutting, after which we start the machine and start cutting according to the specified program. Before the water was supplied to the machine itself, there is a complete filtration of water. After that, it passes to the pump, from the pump to the machining station, and then the material itself is cut. At the moment, I am going to cut the insulation. It takes literally 10 minutes. This is how you see the cutting of the thermal insulation material, which will be installed on the machine itself later. We then store it, dry it, then send it to the warehouse. Then it goes to the assembly from the warehouse. The drying process takes literally 12 hours. It does not need much. We produce armored wheeled vehicles Arlan, Alan 1, Alan 2, Barras 6x6, Barras 8x8, and also have begun to produce weapons systems. Alan 1 is a lightly armored vehicle. In terms of ballistic protection level 3, that is quite good ballistic protection, and it has mine protection level 1. We also produce Barras 8x8 machines. This is already a heavy machine, it has a level up to 4th, and mine protection is also level 4. We can say that we produce vehicles from lightly armored to heavily armored. These are 4x4 and up to 8x8 cars. The Barras can withstand an explosion in TNT, trinitrotoluol, equivalent up to 10 kilograms. That is, not every tank can withstand such explosions. The car will certainly get damaged, but the main thing is the most important. The military servicemen remain alive inside.
Существуют разные виды бронированного металла, то есть
There are different types of armored metal, for example, for the sidewalls used on our machines. It is one type of armor, for the bottom it is another. If it is some kind of ballistic protection, it is one type. If mine protection, then it is another type of armor. This machine is designed to produce bending parts that come after laser or plasma cutting. Currently, the bottom of the armored capsule is being bent on this machine. Each type of parts differs in thickness. It all depends on what is included in the drawings. It may be both 12 mm and 8 mm detail. Each part has a different thickness. Here we can bend up to 20 mm to 90 degrees, including armored steel. There are certain nuances of bending armored steel. The spring back, the radius of the bent parts. In order to get a certain degree, you need to use another tool. In order to get a 90-degree angle, changes should be made in the manufacturing process of these parts. Depending on the need, we can bend up to 10 bottoms and up to 10 sidewalls in one shift. We receive the sheet, cut it, bend it, and pass it on to the quality control inspector for quality compliance. Then, these parts are moved to the welding shop. Each part has permissible deviations. If these are some large parts, then deviations may be larger. If the parts are smaller, then the deviations would be smaller. All this is specified in the drawings. That is, the design engineer at the stage of designing of parts includes all these things into drawing. Which things are critical to observe, which are not critical. It all depends on what is included in the drawings.
Детали менее габаритные, то эти отклонения будут меньше. Ну и это все регламентируется чертежами, то есть инженер-конструктор на этапе проектирования деталей закладывает все эти вещи в чертеж. Какие вещи критично соблюсти, какие не критично, то есть все зависит от того, что указано в чертежах.
Мы дешевле мировых аналогов, которые идут в Казахстан. То есть,
Our products are cheaper than the foreign alternatives on our market for the same price.
в марте месяце
Many law enforcement agencies work well with us. We work with them. And in March, the head of state came to us. He gave a very high assessment of our plant, our production. We are very grateful and support our president.
поддержки нам, всему коллективу.
He expressed good words of support to us and the whole team. He saw our production and he gave the appropriate task to all law enforcement agencies. We have worked with all law enforcement agencies before, and we are ready to work even more actively. We work very well with the SSS, State Security Service, with the border guards, with the Interior Ministry, and we worked well with the Ministry of Defense.
Но в прошлом году
But last year, for some reason, contrary to the President's instructions to support domestic production, we do not know the reasons, but they chose and expressed their intention to purchase foreign Turkish equipment similar to ours.
странную турецкую технику, аналогичную нашей.
We can produce the same class of cars. At the biddings, our machinery happened to be almost 80% cheaper.
Оказалось,
For your information, we have produced about 180 cars in 7 years. Now they want to place such a large order with the Turkish companies.
сейчас такой большой заказ за один раз хотят отдать турецкой стороне.
Комплектовщик после гибочного цеха заводит там материал для установки капсул.
After the bending shop, the material for capsule assembly is delivered to us. Our job, especially mine, is the following. We have 2 shafts. We assemble the main body of the machine on it. We are engaged in installation. We prepare all the details. After the installation is completed, the locksmith smoothes out the capsule. Then, at the last stage, before removing, we perform a revision to make sure we haven't forgotten to perform anything, or in case we have failed to complete welding. We perform the follow-up works if needed. If everything is provided on time and there are no problems, it takes 11 days to release it from the welding shop and send it to the shot blasting shop. The welding takes 8 days. We fix all the details and seams. Then we spend a day checking all the seams and measuring chemical properties. And we also install doors. Overall, it takes 11 days.
Всем свойствами. И установка дверей. И в общем выходит 11 дней.
С экспортом есть наработки, как бы вы должны здесь понимать, что как бы в этой отрасли мы молодой.
There are developments with export. In this industry, we are a young enterprise. It is such a specific industry. You can't go there right away. You can't declare yourself. I am such a manufacturer, and there I compete with such companies that are more than 100 years old.
Сначала надо доказать.
They have all the achievements, reputation. First, you need to prove in your country that you produce high-quality products. Then the law enforcement agencies of your country buy products from you. For 5 years, we have been building this. We have earned ourselves a name. Now we have a more or less established reputation for ourselves that we can produce good products. Thanks to our state agencies for supporting us at present and in the past. And now we are ready to enter the world markets and present our products. At the same time, it is quite a resource-consuming business. It is not that you show the picture of the vehicle and they start buying it. You have to conduct a 2-3 year long testing.
Двух-трехлетние испытания.
Как капсула к нам поступает, первоначально он проходит дробеструйную очистку для
Once the capsule is delivered to us, it undergoes blast cleaning to provide a high-quality paint coating. The metal needs to be cleaned. It is undesirable to apply paint on smooth metal because its service life will be short. This installation allows us to completely clean the body with metal shot, which is supplied under high pressure. It cleans the metal from the oxide film, also gives adhesion for good painting. Preparation for painting includes the removal of the shot. We have places where the shot is collected. Then it will have to be blown out completely so that it does not stay there before painting. All this is blown out. After the blast cleaning is completed, we proceed to the preparatory section. Then the body is primed completely and painted in the customer's color. Then comes drying. After 12 hours of drying, it goes to the assembly line.
После 12 часов сушки она переходит на сборочную линию.
Когда мы начали производить бронированные машины, колесные машины, то мы поняли, что заказчикам нужна не только бронированная машина, но еще...
When we started producing AWV, armored wheeled vehicle, we realized that the customer needed not only a car, but also a weapon system. We have created a fire control system. Our Kazakhstan's developers have written this software, which is quite a complicated thing to do. We have made combat modules as well as a 30mm gun, and we have already begun to supply it to our armed forces. Our next project is to build a factory specifically for weapons systems. This will also be a modern production. There are no analogues of such productions in neighboring countries. Financing in the field of the military-industrial complex is such a difficult issue because the STB, second-tier banks, do not finance everything related to weapons. And in this regard, we are more inclined to work with the MIIR, Ministry of Industry and Infrastructural Development of the Republic of Kazakhstan, within the framework of the Order of the Head of State. When he was at our production, we raised this issue. At that time, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev also gave instructions. It was the issue that was raised earlier on the creation of the Defense Industry Complex Development Fund. Now the Ministry of Industry and Infrastructural Development is working in this direction. Because it is not only our issue, it is the issue of the financing the defense industry complexes.
Именно финансирование предприятий оборонно-промышленного комплекса.
Конечно, я очень горжусь этим. В первую очередь, это...
Of course, I'm very proud of that, first of all. When I see our machines carry out operations somewhere, it is certainly a great pride. It is gratifying that you have made your contribution.
Лепту внес в это.
Чувство большой гордости производить у нас в стране такую технику.
I feel extremely proud to manufacture such machinery in our country. At the beginning, it seemed surreal to manufacture such vehicles here in Kazakhstan. But practice shows that there is nothing supernatural. This is all labor. Everything that is done in the world is done by the hands of people. The minds of engineers and our Kazakhstan specialists performed at their best.
С лучшей стороны.
I have been working since the first year of the foundation, when there was no equipment. We commissioned and installed all the equipment, including a bending, cutting and turning machines. We made the first vehicle in 2015.
Подобных предприятий в Казахстане у нас нет.
We do not have such an enterprise in Kazakhstan. We like the team spirit, uniqueness.
Главное дать нужное
The main
направление.
thing is to give the right direction, support, and in fact, we have enough qualifications in our country, enough resources, including human resources, to produce high-tech products.
Высокотехнологичную продукцию.